Hello and welcome back to EVE Online with Erica, our Minmatar alt, and she's pretty much 2 days after we made the last video, and she's in the Talwar. Now it's the rocket fit we're going to use to go out ratting. We've got the explosive screen reinforcer in the rig slot, the only rig we've got right now due to lack of funds, just to up the resistances. We've got the meta-free rocket launchers. They will do the job for now, and there's quite a price jump up to the meta 4s. We've got the Restrained Microwarpdrive. We've got the medium shield overload booster, which is the one I'm going to go for. It works slightly differently, obviously, to the small one. We'll have a look at the detail. We've got the Stasis Webifier, which I think I christened the Statisfire in the last episode, but I think that's quite good. We've just got the Ballistic control system ones to up the DPS and the Inertial stabilizer to make the ship a little bit more agile on the move and to get into warp if we need to run away. In the hold, we've just got some ammo. I've only got explosive ammo and over ammo right now. Again, I didn't have enough money to buy a wide selection, so I just stuck to what was most relevant. We've got the Scrambler, of course, in case we find something to fight. I've still got the small shield booster on board. I may switch it around and try it out a little bit more. But basically the difference is that heals 31 hit points on our shield per cycle. And it takes 2 seconds per cycle. And obviously, compared to the medium-sized module, the activation cost is 20 gigajoules, which is quite low compared to the medium. Which, as we can see, there is 60. So it takes 3 times more capacity to fire it. It heals 3 times as much, or repairs 3 times as much. And it does it in 3-second cycles, which is so you're getting 3 times the amount of rep in 50% more time. I think that's right. So it's much more powerful in the short term, but it will flatten your capacitor quicker. So we're showing 124 DPS, that's all we can get. We can't overheat because I haven't got thermodynamics. It's about 60% of what we'd get out of kind of the same level of Thrasher. But the difference with the rockets is they've got their maximum range, and application within that range is no issue. As missile systems get bigger, the application can become an issue. We've got rockets, they're the smallest ones. So we've got a little bit more leeway in the range, whereas with the guns and the blasters we've used on some of the other ships, we have to get in close for them to get in there optimal. Rockets just give us a little bit more room. Want to kind of get in close, probably in orbit, because it's going to reduce the incoming DPS off the thing you're orbiting, and you're going to be closer to grab the loot and run. But if you look on my scanning window here, you can see the faction warfare complexes and outposts listed up there to warp to. There's novice, small, medium and large. Novice is Tech 1 and faction frigates only. The small complexes will allow in Tech 1 and Tech 2 destroyers, but no T3 destroyers. Then the mediums are cruisers, and then I think it's anything goes in the large ones. But we'll have a look at those another time when we're looking for fights. For a reasonably busy faction warfare system, this is quite quiet on the belts, I'm pleased to say. As you can see, I'm now repping. In this footage, I've still got the small repairer fitted, and you can kind of see that it kind of gets the job done. It is eating through the capacitor in the end. The benefit we kind of have a little bit of backup as well is that the rocket launchers require no capacitor to fire. So should you somehow run out of cap, and it can happen when you've got to rep a lot, I know, I do it myself, you will keep shooting the rat, and that is one of the benefits. Some weapon systems will stop, lasers in particular. Now if you look at my D-scan, which I'm using quite a lot, it's set to a 1 AU range. I'm on this system of belts, and they're all in a cluster away from the rest of the system. With that range set on the D-scan, I can see when stuff is kind of coming at me rather than stuff in general, so I'll keep an eye on that. Always be ready to run. I'm taking out a cruiser there, just to remind you that even a random cruiser can have a million ISK module in it like that one. Got another clone soldier here. You saw me do the running on the clones last time. I'm whizzing through some of this footage. Save a little bit of time. I don't want things to get too repetitive. But we make Brutix, Gnosis, Harbinger, Vexor Navy issue, or Gora Navy issue. Now that number of battle cruisers and cruisers on a D-scan looks quite like a gate camp to me. I've landed at my safe in this system, which is great, so I can take my time here. So I'm going to narrowly angle on the D-scan down, and just click on the overview, and then you press C to track to that item, V to scan it, and there you go. On the Horror Gate is indeed a splendid little gate camp. They don't seem to have any logi in there, which is fair enough, you can get away without it. Most of those ships will tank the gate guns long enough to kill a lot of stuff, and I'm sure they're built to put out DPS. And little else really. Tackle and DPS is all we need for a gate camp fit. Let's go and have a look, shall we? Now when you land in a gate camp like this, as long as you've already clicked warp, you know, when you're going to the gate, you're pretty much safe, because you're going to go into your session change immediately you come out of your warp. If you've clicked warp to the gate, then you don't want to linger. You want to be mashing that jump button. So there's that gate camp. They've just got somebody having fun. This is a Saturday afternoon, about 4:30 UK time. A little bit later, I've checked the kill board. They got a 300mm crane. They got a 211mm pod. They lost a couple of ships in the end. Whether these guys here that took them down in this, it looks like Loki's and a Stratios and a Proteus. Whether these guys were just roaming through or came and got the gate camp, because maybe it was their crane that got hit, who knows. But they've lost, what, 130 mils worth of ships on that gate camp and made much more in kills. So it's a way of basically generating kill mails anyway to the probe. Named ironically, I guess, because it looks nothing like a probe at all to me. Anyway, in terms of the fit, it's basically a rerun exactly of the old Imicus that we use. It's got the same slot layout, so we've got the emission scope sharpener to boost our little relic analyzer, give it a +10 to its virus coherency. We got the gravity capacitor upgrade, +10% to our scan strength. We've got the relic analyzer fitted. We've got the rage finding array. Again, that's an extra 5% to our scan strength, just to compensate for our limited alpha skills, but it's been doing us okay. We've got Microwarpdrive 1. We've got the cargo scanner because I like them. We've got the warp core stabilizer. It saved my life on the ghost site now and again, so why not? And the inertial stabilizer and a nanofiber structure, so we can get out and run away quickly when we need to. Do note, I'm using core scanner probe 1s at the moment. I can't afford sisters probes, remember. I've got about 1.7 million, I can't remember at this stage. So we've made a little bit off the ratting, probably about 6 million, 5 million. So now we're taking the probe out. Now I've had a look around, and as I mentioned in the last episode, most of the sites seem to get scanned pretty quickly. So I've gone through a wormhole, and here we are, we're in a wormhole. I have scanned with the most basic scanning gear possible a relic site. I'm going to go and do it. Now I'm in a shattered wormhole. You can see how many signatures there are in here. You can also see on there I've filtered off the anomalies. There are 55 of them in this system, in this wormhole. Now shattered wormholes are usually really busy. They respawn really fast, so people get in them. There's a lot of money potentially to be made if you can get into a shattered wormhole and get out with the loot. I don't see any sign of anyone else in this one. Now in a wormhole, that's as good as it's going to get, because you don't know. There's no local, there's cloaks, there's all kinds of nastiness going on. So you can't assume at all that you're not about to get attacked. But I'm always ready to warp out. You see I've actually got on there on my overview the epicenter highlighted. All I've got to do is get my mouse up there and hit that warp button. The moment anything appears on that overview, which of course will be highlighted because I've set my overview up the way I've shown you in previous videos. So anyway, while I'm doing the hacking, I'm doing a little bit more scanning. I don't intend to hang around in this wormhole for too long, even though the possibilities here could be very good. I need the ISK, as we know, so I'm going to play it sensible, see what we get. If it's worth going home with, we're going to take it home. With hindsight, I might have liked to have just left an alt in here. You can leave alts obviously and log them off in wormholes, tuck them up out of the way somewhere first, just maybe see how I could get on in there. That was a little bit unusual, but I didn't take that opportunity. As you can see, actually it was 2:30 AM when I was recording this, and I elected not to take that opportunity. But if you ever find a shattered wormhole, do consider it. Stay in there as long as you can. It depends again on your situation. So I'm keeping on with the D-scan, I'm ignoring the corp chat that's flashing at me, and I'm getting on with the hacking as quickly as I can, really. I do miss one hack here. I think it's the next one coming up. It's a 2 mil box, but really, as I've said before, with the level of loot that we're collecting over time, the odd missed hack is okay. I certainly don't feel bad about it. Again, thanks to you that have left comments. Your encouragement and your feedback is always very welcome, very gratefully received. And those of you that are local to me, you see me in a comment, said, oh, I'm quite close by, yeah, do feel free to say hi in game, drop me a message or add me as a contact with a notification, and we can always try and have a little bit of a roam around. Oh, there indeed is that loot box blowing up, just over 2 mils worth, but that's okay. We're also going to be running some destroyer roams in the new year, so drop me a line again. ThinTrash is the easiest one, the best one if you can send me YouTube related stuff to. His name is up in the description or down in the description. If you're interested in maybe hooking up for a destroyer roam in the new year, I know quite a lot of you are interested in that. We've got quite a list, and I'm loving the sounds we're getting out of the game with this footage sped up. But here we are, the final loot box on our impromptu wormhole adventure in our Nubular Noob little probe. And what have we got in there? We got another 3.5 million. So that's pretty cool. We got 11.5 million out of that little wormhole. So that's just exactly what we needed, really. And I was really impressed we could scan down the relic site in a wormhole with those cheap probes, because one of the things I was really wanted to get the cash for was the sisters probes. I'm going to buy some. Because it was obviously going to be to our advantage, and now we've got the money to do so, and a little bit left over, so that's great. Now I've just stopped at a station in one of the systems to switch over the relic analyzer for the data analyzer. When we've got the money, I'll spend about 1.6 mil on a mobile depot, so we can do that on the fly if necessary, but if there's a station handy, why not use the facilities? And step one, of course, is scanning the loot box to see if it's worth hacking. 2.7 mil, that's pretty good from a data site. The system's pretty quiet, but I am going to keep half an eye on it, and again I am just ready to warp off if anything else arrives on that overview. I'm going to go through these reasonably slowly. Remember, the ship is rigged for a boost to its relic analyzer, not the data module. So especially when I get towards the end, I'm going to be very careful about where I'm clicking. I don't feel any pressure from local, as it were. So we're going to take a little bit of time. So there you go. I'm going to use the shield on that just to be extra safe. I have been caught out sometimes by that key eating your virus coherency away so quickly that you fail the hack without really realizing it's going to happen. Now the second box is only got like 760 ISKs worth of loot in it. I'm going to leave that one. If I hack it, then I'll collapse the site when I finish clearing it. But I'm going to leave it as bait. So the third one we go and hack, that's 400,000. So that's not bad from a data site, and certainly a welcome addition to the fun. So we're going to head off to the second one now. These are actually the only 2 hackable sites I've found going through about 6 low-sec systems. As I say, lots of wormholes, which I'm more than happy to have. But these sites are getting hacked quickly. They are quite busy. That's 4 million there from that first box, and these data sites are actually beginning to impress me, but maybe that's because I haven't found any relic sites in this low-sec pocket yet. So I never said ignore the data sites. I just said that if you've got to make a decision, or when I've got to make a decision, I'm gonna fit a ship to be stronger at the relic sites than the data sites. In the wormhole, the difference really stands out, but there you go. There's a 7.5 million ISK box now, this next one. So I'm kind of proving myself wrong as we go along, and I'm happy to do so. Maybe they change things. I found it a little bit odd, as I've said before. But these hacks are nothing special, nothing challenging. The low-sec hacks don't usually have the virus suppressors and stuff like that on them. So there's nothing really too tricky to go on. Just follow those numbers. My rules are follow the numbers. Don't click on a lit node you don't need to click on. And just take a little bit of time, and always pick up a power up before you click anywhere else in case it gets locked down. So follow those rules, and I don't think you'll get far wrong. So there we are, very nice and easy to get into there. For the 7.5 million, we're up to 14 now. That's quite cool. I didn't expect much from these data sites at all. Again, local is staying pretty quiet. Just one other person, and they don't seem to be flying. Could be cloaked, and they could be 5,000 meters away from me, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Each of these data sites only had 3 boxes each on them as well, which is a little bit unusual. Did put me off at first, in case somebody had hacked some of them and destroyed the boxes and then were just floating here waiting for me. But again, as long as you're aware when things need to be a little bit more cautiously dealt with, I think you're going to be fine in low sec. And I think this is a good point to remind you that this probe fit cost under 700,000 ISK. including the probes that I've been using, and we made what, just over 11 over in that wormhole, and we've got another 1.4 there, so that's 16.5 million. So that's nearly 28 million this probe has already made us in probably about 2 hours, 3 hours of play tops. That includes me roaming around, getting lots of intel, planning some routes, making lots of safe spots on the way around, and finding loads of wormholes I didn't even bother looking into. So that now gives us a budget of about 32 million to go and spend over in Heck on skill books and upgrades, and that's what we're going to do in the next episode, is upgrade the ships. Do note I'm slowing down the training for this character so she doesn't get too far ahead, and I'd also like to note that I'm thanking CCP for the West Ham skins they've given out for Christmas. And though I didn't quite plan it, this is coming out on Christmas Eve, so I'm going to wish you all the very best. There will be another video out within a couple of days because I'm having that kind of Christmas, and I will be in game over Christmas Day and Boxing Day, I should think too. So say hi if you're around and you're twiddling your thumbs, because I know what those kind of Christmases can be like. But for now, I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been useful for you. Fly safe and goodbye.